Okay, yeah, that is enough of that. At least for now, until Rev shows up. Hello, everybody. Sorry if I sound very winded and tired. It has been an interesting week. I have no idea where Rev is at the current moment. Hi, Chaos. Welcome to the stream. Coding overload. What's going on now? Yeah, so I did not fall asleep until 2:30, which, believe it or not, is actually very normal. And I woke up at 6 a.m. because the dogs that stay here were barking at something or were super excited to finally go outside and go potty. I'm gonna close this.
Oh, hold on.
Hi, Rev.
Hold on. Using the shitty headphones. Give me a second. Just keep talking.
Yeah,
Hello?
they're two happy, hyper little chihuahuas that are also a pain in my ass. We are having issues on YouTube, so if the buffering becomes too annoying, there is a link in the description for the Twitch side of this.
Oh.
What?
Am I coming in?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My headphones are still acting up.
Interesting.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's weird. It's a pain in the ass.
I am very, very tired, dude. Like, loopy tired. Like, my sleep has not been the best.
No, I can imagine. I can imagine.
I fell asleep at like 2:30 last night, and then I woke up at 6 because of the dogs. And the night before that was the exact same. The night before that was the same.
Yeah, welcome to my nightmare as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look on the plus side. We're on the 69th episode.
Yee. So, Twitch is not very happy with the idea of putting 69 in the alert of, hey, I am streaming now. So, as much as like we joke about about like porn podcasts for some weird reason, I would not delve too much into the number.
Of course. However, I'm greatly disappointed.
I know. Like, Twitch will allow me to put a squiggle next to 69, like, yeah. But the second I put it in, like, hey, I'm live, it says no.
Well, that and the fact that we don't have tits on the screen. I thought we agreed to have tits on the screen.
Oh, don't worry, I can fix that. Give me a second.
Good.
Hi, broski.
Hello. Yes, hello.
But yeah, if YouTube is having too many, loading issues, then just go over to Twitch.
Yes. I think we have a larger audience on Twitch than we do here.
We have more subscribers on YouTube, which is essentially followers on Twitch. But we have more people that show up in Twitch chat, which hardly makes sense to me.
Fair enough, fair enough.
There we go. We have some tits on the screen.
Hold on, let it load for me, just so I can admire the boobage that we have. Yes, perfect.
We have to stay PG because YouTube is shit.
Yes.
Pair of great tits. That's what they're called.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on with OBS. There's an encoding overload every few seconds.
Technology just doesn't work on the. Yes, you have. We said we'd have tits on the screen. We didn't say what kind.
We've been tricked. Well then.
Yeah.
I'm going to shrink the image down.
Well, we did say we'd have tits on the screen. We never said what.
Or where. You go, Riff.
Oh, you dick. Yeah.
I am very tired. Plus side, I have a breakfast burrito.
Oh, good.
Downside, the house guest made it.
I've been just on and off eating today. It's weird.
Oh, good. There's a painting called British Tits.
Oh, for fuck. Yes.
So we're all clear, if the Gmod community ever uploads it, that Avara is going to change to Prime.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Actually, you would have to talk with a friend I know called Never Dead. He's doing some Warframe stuff, so. Yeet. Veteran of Warframe, too. Or a veteran of Warframe, I should say. Nice. Sorry, I read Broski's message, and my immediate thought was that stupid angel dust thing with the chest hair, or chest fluff, or whatever the hell that is. Like, you've seen it, right?
Nope.
Hold on. It's that animation I mentioned. Like, someone wanted us to cover on the show.
I don't know what's funnier, the fact that there's a bird species called tit, or the Welsh word for one of the tit species.
What's the word? What's the Welsh word for
Barfog. B-A-R-F-O-G. Barfog.
That sounds like a Grenier word. That sounds like something a Grenier would say. It's like, as a curse.
I I know the artist that does Has Been Hotel. She's pretty good.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they wanted us to cover.
Mm.
And I sat down, I watched it, and my immediate thought was, the fuck is going on? How much acid did I take? Or did I take, or did I not take enough acid?
So Barfog is the bearded tit. We are never ever going to let that go.
Nope. Actually, let me check Gmod real quick, because I saw, I think there was a titmouse model we could have used
Yeah, so
to
that
put on the screen.
that adorable fat chibi bird that people have been seeing all over the place in a VR chat, that's a tit. That's a tit bird.
Well, I know what I know the person behind it, but what's the... I am a dick. Also, I swear to God, I did not plan this whatsoever. But since we were talking about the animation and the birds and everything, I was like, okay, let me just go to the workshop real quick and see if I can find a titmouse, right?
Uh-oh.
And just and again, we mentioned the Has Been Hotel thing, and yeah, apparently someone's already made something.
Oh, goody.
Timing, what is that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I'm impressed. Great model work. I'm deeply disturbed by this. What is it? Radio demon? Yeah. I want you to fuck off now. Just in no particular order. It's like, oh, I see you. Okay, now leave, please. Like now. Just
There
very passive aggressively.
there was there was a D&D group that I was watching some time ago. I kind of fell off again as per usual. And the party met a storm giant, which is like 30 feet tall or so. It's massive, dude. With like
I don't doubt it.
with a big bushy beard that has like church bells woven in. And one of the characters was like very sincere. He asked him like, "Will we ever see you again?" And the guy just blatantly goes, "No," and walked away. Because storm giants are severely awkward and antisocial.
At least he's being honest. Like, will we ever see it? No. Just very
Just no.
casually.
Please
Very
leave with my
blunt.
army of crabs.
Jesus. But like I said, it's like I said, timing. I swear, I did not plan this at all.
Are you now that prophet dude from Co-optional Podcast?
No,
I've been rewatching those animations. I love them.
no, I am not. I'm not nearly fat enough to be Jim Sterling.
Yes. Oh, hello,
If
Mort.
ever. Oh, hi, Mort.
Yeah, it was the Unexpectables. I stopped at the episode where they're at a school of mostly of all girls, like a girls' boarding school. The episode's called "It Boggles the Mind." I haven't gotten any further.
Still makes me laugh. It's like, oh. But no. So to put it bluntly, I suppose, to go back to what that person wanted us to talk about, it's not bad animation. It's fluid. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I just think they went a little too crazy with the sound effects. Because it's the edit and eddy effect, basically, where every slight movement or slight facial expression has a sound effect accompanied.
Yeah.
Subtlety is a thing, my dear.
It's like the funniest part about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie with Ivan Ooze is that every little thing the Power Rangers did while in armor had a sound effect. Everything.
Exactly.
And it was funny.
That's exactly the same thing. My issue with this Has Been Hotel thing is every second there's a sound effect or an Ed and Eddie style face equals sound moment. And my immediate, like I said, it's just I'm not against people adding wacky, crazy sound effects to everything. Far from it. It's just timing has to be a thing, you know.
Yeah.
Let the scene breathe is what I'm trying to say. And still, everything else about it was all right. And character designs are interesting. A weird sort of mix of I want to say cutesy, creative kind of mixing, and downright horrifying to the point where it was just kind of like, you know, part of me wants to hug you, and then the other part just wants to just start stabbing until you go away. It's one of the extreme reactions, I should say. Yeah, but well, like I said, overall, it's interesting. I'm curious to see where this goes, if anything. As far as I heard, it's just the pilot. 2 years to make a pilot. Jesus Christ, that's that's something. But no, like I said, it's interesting. It's all right. That person who made the model, though, I wonder if he's going to keep going. Does that be interesting? But yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's all right. I think people should watch it just to see something unique and interesting, and then leave. You know, like I don't see this going much further than that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's just me though. So maybe. Oh yeah. We've seen her music video stuff. That was always impressive. Like she's
Yeah.
got a good grasp of creative design, but making it look fluid and natural versus kind of stilted and jaded, like most animations these days. You know, she's got a. How do I put it?
It's
It's. Mm-hmm.
it's almost like like an early Disney style, like uh I'm thinking like early 2000s Disney style.
Yeah, exactly. I call the animation like watery in a way, like it flows in and of itself perfectly.
And with
Uh,
with what I've seen from like the Hasbin Hotel and stuff like that, it looks like a combination of Disney's paint texture that they use, where every
mhm.
character looks like they're made of construction paper or something like that, like really nice. But then
Go ahead.
it combines with like the
Keep going.
pointy, thin, angular, almost creepy style of Tim Burton. That's the name, Tim Burton.
Yes, exactly. It's a good mix,
Yeah,
and it doesn't feel forced, I should say.
yeah.
What did Broski say? I gotta say, Alistair's got me real. All right, Alistair. That's the name of that character. He's creepy. I don't mind. Exactly, exactly. Like I said, he's creepy. I don't mind it. At the same time, like I said, it's. I see the guy. My immediate thought is, put on a smile, play nice, yada yada. Keep the shotgun on the counter,
Have you
just
ever
in
seen
case.
the like there was that cartoon everybody was hyped of because it was like the first cartoon from Mexico being brought into the United States, like, into Cartoon Network,
Mm-hmm.
where one of the or it feels like the Grand Adventures of like Billy and Mandy, and
Mm-hmm.
like it was a like the main characters is like a scientist with a bag on his head, a giant pink bear, and their boss who's like a really
I
horrific
know the
villain.
Vil, Villanos. Yes,
Yeah. Have you seen that?
I've seen the clips both in English and Spanish, and I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. It's funny. I'm curious to see where this goes. You know, like that kind
I
of thing.
was
Like,
really happy to see that show up, like to have it be on Cartoon Network. Like, good
yeah,
job.
I see similarities between both designs here. It's actually not bad.
Yeah.
It still got me just kind of like I'm curious to see where it goes. Really, if they do anything.
If
Again, just like with
anybody's
that.
curious, just in case, because I do have a noise
Mhm.
gate on my microphone, If you hear spontaneously loud noises and people screaming, it's Sunday. It's football day, the most dreaded day of my week, other than Monday. So
Hmm.
everybody's literally right above my head watching a giant TV.
Oh man. Now, it's cold here, so I don't need to turn on the AC, but I would have to open the window, and I'm just not going to do that because there are stupid children here.
Yeah, I have an AC. I have a heating and AC unit behind my head, and that's
Okay.
also another reason why I stopped watching The Unexpectables for a while. Is because their audio is so quiet, and when that thing kicks on, I can't hear anything.
Of course. But like, yeah, of course. Anyway, but still, overall, I guess, I guess our hope is we hope that Vizzy gets everything, is able to do more with the show because again, it has potential. It's an
Yeah,
interesting concept.
yeah. It's always good
A
to see.
rare.
It's always good to see like somebody who's like a content creator online who deserves this kind of thing.
uh,
Because I remember
But
one episode we
that's
talked about this.
yeah. But um, that's what I'll say. It's an interesting take on hell, a city basically. Which I recall this. Apparently, it's like everything that can be bought, and so it's like the dollar store off-brand shit, which made me laugh a bit. It's like, okay, so we have Pepsi. No, we have pop. Well, fuck. Truly, my hell. Just this off-brand shit. But no. Overall,
Mort,
like I
when do
said, I
they
like
fix
it.
the audio? Because my biggest gripe is actually Panic or
Hmm.
Distortion Devil. He is so quiet.
Excuse me. Oh,
I am gonna be focused on this bullshit.
oh, it's fine. It's fine. There's no need to. Okay, apparently the animation has some Disney World kind of moments.
Yes, I love Disney World. Oh
Oh
god, whenever I
God.
find like remember English. Whenever I uncover a meme that is just faces, I go
Mhm.
crazy. Like my favorite is Nigel Thornberry
Oh, of course.
and Disney World.
That face. Just. But still, overall, it's like I said, we hope for the best for them basically. I do know they do streams quite a bit, and they actually have the voice actors there to say stupid shit as the characters. So there's that. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, trust me, people have gotten them to
Oh no.
say absolutely ridiculous and just borderline, uh, not safe for work shit. Don't mind. I do know they actually had the
Sorry.
I'm not gonna be able to get through this now.
You did this. You mentioned Disney World. I love it. Oh
Exactly,
man.
I agree with Broski here. Uh, it's so high quality. You think it's an Adult Swim animation, but it's an independent project, and yeah, it's inspiring to say the least. That it has a legion of people who are a fan of it, and it hasn't even proper show since this pilot. And again, this has been like what 3 4 years in the making. So something crazy like that.
I feel like you get bills
Yes,
gonna
exactly. They
love.
yes, I agree. Usually, yeah, do pay them to say something risque in that sense, which I don't mind. But I also know that some people have taken that audio and done some interesting things with it. Zone, I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone who knows who that is, good on you.
But if you're too young, then we're not gonna say.
Yes, it's poor. I said it anyway. Because fuck the children. I'm here to corrupt everything. Yeah. And like I said, I know they did that, and I also know they got the voice actor for what's his face? Hate the hyena. What's his face? Oh God. From the Japanese animation. I'm trying to. Oh my God, what's it called? How do you say his name? Haida
I don't know.
from Rexco. That's it. The voice actor for one of the characters. They actually got him to be on one of their podcasts, and again, it was interesting. I also feel so sorry for the guy because apparently he's innocent about the and discovered the furry fandom.
Oh
And
no.
said innocence was lost immediately after. Again, like his Twitter says everything, and it's just like I'm actually tempted to find like some of the tweets he sent out, and then just just laugh at the poor man. I feel so sorry for him, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, you know what? You brought this on yourself. Oh, fuck, I'm just gonna find it. Oop, not. Here we go. Twitter.
I'm still looking at Disney World.
He's had adventures on Twitter involving that. Yes, he has, and I actually kind of feel sorry for the guy. It's just, oh man, poor fellow. I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, I feel so bad for the guy. Man, it's still funny. I love the fact that, like always, we seem to manage to talk about everything that isn't our topics for almost 30 minutes.
Yep.
This is a new thing now. This is the thing we have to do. We're pretty much dealing with at this point. Oh well. Still, stay tuned for the for the end when I eventually make retarded fan art about this whole stream. Yes, and proceed to tweet it out to everyone who doesn't want to know why are you punching this guy?
I am still looking at this shit. I can't stop.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. This is what happens when you animate. You're always gonna wind up with some fucked up still somewhere because it's part of the motions, and it will always happen. Yes.
I'm 25 years old.
Let's see. Actually, funnily enough, I was half tempted to put in, since we're doing the 69th. Ugh. I'm sorry, I can't talk. I keep fumbling on my own words.
Neither of us could talk today.
Ugh. Tempted, since this is the 69th episode, there we go, to just pick up a crude. I pulled on my headphones there, sorry. I was tempted to get like a crude, hey, how did we discover porn shit? And then I realized that probably wouldn't be a good idea.
No.
We would be shit. We would be shit canned off of every social media platform for telling these stories.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Still, it is sad, but
Words
funny
are
at
for
the same
nerds.
time.
I mean,
Insert
nerds taste delicious.
Insert Homer Simpson's nerd clip here. Jesus Christ. It's still, it's gonna be one of those days, or I should say one of those streams. Because damn it, I'm high off of narcotics and I can't come back down. Just, see, specifically, I've just snorted up a whole bunch of felt.
See.
I don't think it's working.
This image Describes it perfectly. Here. A sandwich with words.
A sandwich. Yes, that is a book. A sandwich with words. All right, we've hit the 30-minute mark. I suppose we excuse me. I suppose we should begin the show proper. And what's that? You want to keep going? Okay, never mind. No, I'm kidding. All right. So it's been a bit of a slow week this time around, or this go around. Both in and before everything. A whole lot of shit was coming out. Of course, we couldn't cover everything in one sitting.
Yep. Then, during the week, my work schedule got borked again.
Yes, specifically borked. That word. Yeah. Right next to the person that I must kill, which is Bjork. For some weird reason. That's gonna be a character flaw.
What are you doing to my new juice?
I'm so it's so out of the blue, and yet, first you have the puppet that looks completely deadpan, the voice, and then just the hand poking it. It's perfect. What are you doing to my
Can
new
we stop at
juice?
a drive through McDonald's?
Or a wimpy? I honestly wish someone made a gif of that, or just anything, because I want that as my background image. Just, what are you doing to my new juice? Man, if nobody knows what we're talking about, just look up the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance bloopers, the 4-minute one. You'll get it. Trust me, you'll
It's
get
so
it.
good.
And again, it kind of shows how everything is so to scale. Still freaks me out. But I didn't find my new juice gif or anything. I did find this though. This is, I like this. It's small, but it's funny.
I like that the tongue flops.
Oh yeah, this is a good example of the CG actually working for what it's supposed to be. Enhancement, not replacement. Anyway, so let me get my own list of topics here, because I don't have this open in real time.
Yay.
Let's see here. I keep saying that, and it sounds like I'm just started for the theme of Halo. Anyway, here we go. So today's topics, like I said, it's been a slow week, so forgive us. So it's just going to be our thoughts on a lot of mostly talking. So our thoughts on the old blood, what we like, what we don't like, our opinions on the new stuff. Talking a little bit about Death Stranding, no spoilers, just how the game looks and its world setup. Do games have better shots on doing more risky / experimental things than movies? And lastly, is it a good idea to try and make a franchise with games or movies? Can it go too far? So yeah, let's begin with the old blood. It's old, and it's viscous.
It's old. It's old and dried, so now it's all brown.
Yes, but in all seriousness, so we are talking about Warframe's the old blood expansion, addition to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, to give a quick summary, it's basically the Shadow of War game mode, the Nemesis system added to Warframe, and actually works for it. It isn't forced or anything, which I was beyond happy about.
Yay.
So there's that. Let's see. It adds a few things. It also adds a new Warframe, Grendel, aka Stomach Mouth,
Yay.
which always freaks. I actually like that design. I
Yeah.
wish more like monsters incorporated that aspect. You know, it's not something you see often. Again, I guess the question would be like, how would they respond? You know, like how the end change when they eat. Like, does the stomach get larger as people get eaten? You know, or as it eats? And does it all spill out when the when the mouth opens? I see. Pre-digested pie. Wonderful.
Oh, that's a Nox. Okay.
So let's see. We've got that. Like I said, the old blood just adds in a few changes. Lighting is actually changed as well. Like it's not so obnoxiously bright or dark or anything of that nature. I actually enjoyed it. It's very interesting. The group of liches are also very. It's an
Funny.
interesting concept. Yeah, their voice lines are to die for, honestly, and I enjoyed it greatly. Still, that said, though, you know, getting one of them to spawn is such a pain in the ass.
Yep.
And I mean, like, so basically, it works. The liches are they appear as little targets you'll find in game, but they're not like super powerful or anything. They're like obnoxiously, and then you kill them, and then they will return as a lich, and they'll be like incredibly powerful, incredibly dangerous, that sort of thing. And but getting them to spawn is such a nightmare to do. I went through like 5 or so days just trying to get one to spawn, and it never did until I decided to um, take my low-level Vauban and go like, okay, I'm gonna go out here for a few minutes and level him up. Suddenly, Lich. I think the game is programmed to track how high level players have, like you know how strong their warframes are, and have it so the player and then change the outcome of how soon or how little the lich will appear. That's what I think. That's what I think the setup is. It's just okay. This player has a high level character. Let's spawn the lich much later, or oh, they have a low level character. Let's spawn it in now. Kind of an unfair bullshit, but whatever. I'm not mad. I'm just annoyed, slightly. So yeah, there's that. But the gameplay, I'm actually not a fan, and I'm going to explain in a second. The way you kill a lich is that you're supposed to find murder his buddies and then use a blade to drain their brain of information that relates to the lich's like kill phrase. But in order to which will then relay the type of mods you need to use to uh, put on your blade so you can kill them. And these mods drop from Requiem relics, which is like the relic system we have in the game as of right now. And it works exactly like the relic system for like prime stuff and everything. And I'm not a fan of it. And the reason why I'm not a fan of it is because it's all RNG. It's all based on how much like oh god, what's the word? Void traces you put in, how you know altering the chance of how often you'll get this item, and etc. 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 My issue is I suck at these. I always wind up getting the shit I don't need. Like the first time got one of these relics, like did the mission for the relic, um, it um, it didn't give me it. Instead, it gave me what are they? The new things, the little crystals that you
The
get.
Riven slivers.
Exactly, to make a Riven mod, which I fucking hate. Rivens. I really do. It annoys me. So when I got it, I was like, of Of course I would. So that's my issue. And then there's the issue with the mods themselves, which I've sent to HH.
Yeah, I'm
All
getting everything
mods,
set up.
yeah. All these mods are 3-time use, and then they expire. I'm not a fan of that. I don't approve of that whatsoever. Because it's forcing the player to go back into the Requiem mod system to farm again to get more mods to use against their liches. It's like, oh my god, that's not fun. That's annoying. And I agree, it's very annoying. However, I will say this about the mods. I do like little flavored text that they have. Like, they'll have a names like Lok, Zata, Ris, Fas, Yahoo, Vome, Natra, Kra. And I've suddenly I know I've just spawned Cthulhu out in Mexico just by saying that. Just tune in right now to your local news station, and you're gonna see giant squid man just rising from the ocean. I get. But what I like about it is that there's flavored text, and the point of these mods is you're making a or a kill phrase to kill the lich, and I like this. I like the idea that you're assembling a stanza of a song or something very specific to kill them, and it's creative. It's just I'm not a fan of this 3U thing and then it's done. I think what it should have been is that instead you still have to do the researching part, as in going in and killing the lich's minions, and then after you do that, you uncover the right mods again, and then you go through the process of guesstimating what mods will work against your lich. That's what it should be,
Mm-hmm.
It's how do I put it? It's more player friendly, basically, and allows you to kind of not be so grind happy. That's what I think it should. I like the liches. I like their design. I like the fact that they're randomized, and yet their bodies are randomized. Their armor pieces are randomized. I really HH and we have our lich.
Mine's dead.
I have my lich.
Like without skin to beat. Yeah, so hers is dead. I've still got mine.
I don't think I'm ever gonna kill mine, to be completely honest, because I have shit luck when it comes to getting so I'm just gonna be stuck with this guy just conquering systems. I'll be like, okay, whatever.
To you, he's not a lich. He's like the competition.
Exactly, to the point where I'm just kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. Keep Mars. I don't care anyways. Nah, but I like. But that's
we
the
have
thing.
our liches. Mine broke.
Exactly. That's kind of funny. But that's the thing I mean. It's just I enjoy my lich. Actually, you still have the image of mine, yes? Oh yeah, it's on the stream.
It's cycling between Snow's, mine, and Liam's right now.
Okay, if you want to
Mine is
put up mine.
Lubstoff. I love him.
That's the thing I kind of find annoying. You are easy to pronounce lich names. Mine is the most obnoxious, vapid shit I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'll get it. It looks exactly like he still looks like Darth Vader. Or is
I
that
know.
female?
No, it's a male, and I
Okay,
swear
because
to
it's still
God.
a boob plate.
No, I swear to God, I didn't intend for him to be. It just happened.
That's what
And
they
it's
all
still
say.
happened. Well, that's the thing. It's just I didn't expect him to be so perfect out of the game. That's the thing I enjoy about him. I love the fact that he's got the rebreather thing on his face.
I like Snow's new lich. Meth is his name.
Meth.
His name is Meth, yeah.
They're not even being subtle now.
Loserlock Fiang. Fayang.
You see what you see what I
Loserlock
mean? His
Fayang.
name.
I don't know.
That's everyone has like easy to pronounce liches. Mine just decides, you know what? I'm going
Try
to have this
pronouncing
be.
like Snow's. Like Snow's newest lich. ULIGB is the first name, and then Meth.
Oh, Ule, I think. Again, I just wish DE would add like an option to, you know, like how people have a text to speech function to read certain words. I
I
wish we
actually
would
had
have that.
I had that activated on Discord for a long while. It was so much fun.
But that's what I would love, just for the liches, is like they say their name, or like or a text to speech device says their name for you. It's like, okay, that's not that bad. But still, like I said, I like the fact that the armor is very unique to the liches. You know, like yeah, we can see where some pieces of them were like copy and pasted from other characters, and what? Quilji Boa Bob? What? What? Mort, are you okay? Do you need a second to sit down?
That's yours?
His lich is Quilji Boa Bob. Oh, that would be funny. Oh man, but no, like I said, the liches are all very interesting. I like how the armor is all changed. You know, like you see the aspects that are similar to other Grenier stuff, but then you have them having very specific pieces of armor. You know, like the masks and everything, which I found incredibly interesting. The other part I really like is the fact that they have a fake Warframe head on their shoulder, like to tell you who made this. You know, it's not organic like we expected, but I appreciate this all the same. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's a good look, if you ask me. But like I said, despite how much I enjoy and everything. Oh, by the way, excuse me. By the way,
Rev, before you continue with that, I want
mhm.
you to leave the call and come back because you're cutting out.
Okay.
Uh, hello.
As always, I'm here.
Yep, hello.
Okay. Uh, what I was gonna say is that the liches, their color, like for the armor and everything, is based on the color of the warfin that killed them.
Which hardly makes sense with Lubstoff for me. Because, like,
It seems. Go ahead.
I killed Lubstoff with my Valkyr.
Mm-hmm.
But all of his powers and the helmet on his shoulder was Volt and Nova. Or possibly Loki, because he teleported around.
Mm.
Even though I remember very clearly I did Valkyr spin to win in Hysteria to kill that thing, because he was in a crowd of enemies.
Oh. It doesn't seem like the powers are based on the warframe that kills them. It's just
Well, yeah,
based
but like,
of.
if you look at Lubstoff, his color scheme is like purple and brown when my Valkyr is black and red.
Oh. I like I said, I think that they haven't matched the colors 100% yet. I think it's more like the they're using like maybe the base colors at the moment to test it out.
Yeah.
That's as far as I think it's gotten, anyways. Let's see. So there's that. So we have the liches, the Parazon blade. I actually like this weird kind of Assassin's Creed sort of knife, little knife.
Ah, yes,
That
because
was fun.
Assassin's Creed is the only one that does that.
I actually read somewhere that Ubisoft wanted to sue DE for the use of an arm mounted or under the hand arm mounted blade. And then that was like thrown out of court because nobody took it seriously.
Yeah, nobody really cares.
Well,
And yet,
that's the thing.
Bethesda will harass people to death over a word.
Well, that's the thing I'm trying to get at is just they don't have the exclusive rights to a weapon. I mean, you can do that if it's very what's the word? If the weapon is very oh god, it's in the back
Unique
of my
and exclusive.
unique, exactly. Like it has a specific style, but because this is it's the concept of the weapon and works and looks differently that there's no copyright infringement or case for it. Hence why um no lawyer or anything took the case.
Yeah, it's like when we think of Minecraft, our immediate thought is the creeper face. If
Mm-hmm.
another game comes out with something very similar to the creeper face and a creature very similar to the creeper itself, then it's a Bethesda
Sorry, I just
sues
ran with more
Cthulhu over Elder God. Yeah,
I want to see that
yeah,
now. I want to see Cthulhu
please.
in a suit in a courtroom, like huge, with a Bethesda lawyer just standing there, and he's just like hunched over, like with a little briefcase and everything.
I could
I
probably do
would
you
pay
one
good money
better.
to see that. Good.
I could probably do you one better, but I can't put it on the stream because it's somebody else's art.
Okay, okay. You could, sorry, you can show me later.
Yeah, I'm in the process
Uh,
of it.
okay, but still, it's still funny to imagine. But yeah, exactly. They didn't take the case seriously because, like I said, Ubisoft doesn't own the exclusive rights to a weapon. Basically, I mean, they have the rights to the Assassin's Creed blade. We'll give them that, but they don't have the right to every arm-mounted blade in the universe. So
Yeah.
screw you. So we've got that. Or sorry, that happened basically. Then I also heard that Warner Brothers was getting ready to try to do the same thing because DE is copying, at least in practice, the Nemesis system, but it's different enough that they can get away with it.
Also, here, have Cthulhu in office.
All right, but that's just what I'm saying. It's just oh yeah, I've seen this. It's so funny. Cthulhu trying to talk about the TCA reports.
There, there's like another post I've not put on here, but it's applicable, where Cthulhu discovers his dream job of being a porn star.
Jesus. I don't doubt it. But like I said, it just boils down to how um, how it's executed. And again, even if Warner Brothers wants to pursue this lawsuit, an attempt at a lawsuit over this incredibly retarded Nemesis system, they're more than welcome to do it. It's just there isn't much legal standing for it to go through.
Yeah.
So again, it's a case of Jesus Christ. Yeah, the world ends at that point. It really does.
It's like I love Studio Wildcard for the games. Like their games look amazing, Ark, Survival Evolved, etc. But
Mhm.
sometimes there are rules and like their formatting and stuff like that. I don't remember the proper words. Sometimes like their ideas are stupid. Cause
Yes.
somewhat recently, like maybe a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I don't remember anymore. Um, they passed a rule in their workshop where if you post something that looks anything like something from TV or a movie, it will be removed. So, or even from another game. So there are no Monster Hunter mods. The
Of course.
Jurassic Park mods are being targeted and will likely be shut down unless like the creator tweaks them to be completely different.
Of course.
Um, it's It's very, very stupid because a lot of creatures on the workshop, like a majority of the workshop, is based off of
Mhm.
something from a movie or TV, just adjusted to be safe, but it's still being targeted.
Well, here's the problem with that. You see, the point of the workshops are just that. It's fan creations or fan concepts or anything. The fan makes whatever the hell they want, and they put it up there, and it's up to the game developers to decide if they want to add it in or not. This is, and the thing is that they're not making a mint off of these mods or anything. They're not
Yeah.
trying to pass on their work as um, their own. That's kind of the point. It is a freedom of expression. The problem is these companies are so worried that uh, someone else will jump in and try to sue them, as in like Warner Brothers or anything basically
Yeah.
that has like one of their IPs in it, that they don't want to deal with that headache. And the problem is at that point, you might as well shut down the workshop because if no one can post what they want to post up, then why bother? That's the problem.
The biggest problem, like the most
Mm-hmm.
repeating problem, which is very likely the cause of all this crap, is the Monster Hunter mods for Ark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people love Monster Hunter, people love Ark. They want them to be in the same game together, but they don't want to deal with the fact that Capcom will annihilate or just go absolutely rabid if another game or company even looks at something they've made.
Exactly, and this is the problem that it comes to the fact that as much as we don't approve of it, Capcom is very stingent when it comes to their copyrighted materials, and they've had a history of going like, oh, someone's made this fan mod using our intellectual characters and yada yada yada. Quick, nuke it for more. But they go for the extreme reaction, like five
Yeah.
times out of 10,
And this has
and that's the
happened like
unfortunate.
multiple times for Ark, but people are still gonna do it. Like the latest mod, which has actually received a lot of money just to make it different from Capcom, make it be completely uneligible to be targeted by Capcom, is still going to be put down because of
Mhm.
this rule.
Exactly, and this is my issue with yep, I still have that image up, sorry. That is my image with Arc in general, and that is Arc is beautiful, it's amazing, it's creative, but the creators behind it are I don't want to say they're scummy, but they're like extremely stingent on everything. And to be completely honest, it's kind of why I've been turned off from playing Arc or even bother getting the game. One, because it's too fucking expensive. That's first off.
Two,
It's
it's gonna
DLCs.
two. I don't think your computer is gonna be able to handle it.
Well, that. But what I was going to say was the other thing is the DLCs alone are too fucking expensive. The whole game is just too expensive to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to play this.
Yep.
I'll watch the people play. I'm not
You are
putting up
roboting
with this.
so hard.
Hold on.
I don't know what's going on.
All right. What I was saying was, is I'm just not going to oh god to get this game. It's just too expensive. I watch other people play it. No, it's just not worth it. And the more I see from it, the more I'm beginning to believe they just don't want. They want this product to be sold everywhere,
Nope, still
but they
robotic.
don't. I'm trying to find out why this is happening. I mean, it shouldn't happen.
Let me see on my end here.
I'm trying to figure out what's causing this.
It's
Doesn't
gotten
seem to be
worse.
my. Hmm?
It has gotten worse. Let me see about changing the server region. Give me a second here.
All right.
Alright, try it now. Rev? Oh, great. Hello?
1, 2, 2. Hello, hello, hello.
Nope, 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 nope. Going back to West. Jeez, what is going on? Hello.
Oh, come on, you pain in the ass machine.
Hello.
Is it working now?
A little glitchy.
I don't know what's happening. I think it's my Discord acting.
Is there a little green arrow up in the corner telling you to update?
No. It's just been, it's been like that for a few days now, where it just, I don't know what's happening with it.
Hmm.
Like it'll stop responding. It'll go mental. Like it'll clash with like my Chrome for some weird reason. Machine then, man.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
I'm just gonna keep going until it inevitably just dies or anything. Yes. Anyway. So everything's still stable. But yeah,
It's only when you start to have
it's
like
just
it's only when you start having proper conversation that it does that.
I don't know. So anyway, point is to go back to the old blood.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It brings up some interesting concepts, kind of clever little things. I'll say. Liches are interesting. There's just one thing I do not agree with, flat out,
What?
and that is the 855 platinum bundle.
Oh my god, yeah, I saw that.
I was disgusted. I didn't enjoy that. It was robot really Mort. He's going philosophical on us now.
Must not show emotion.
If only that was that easy. I just start talking binary and everything.
Beep boop, beep boop.
No, but I didn't agree with that. That 800 plat was just. First off, you get all. What I supported about was you get the armor, the lich armor. I was fine with it. What I wasn't fine with was getting the Requiem mods, Requiem mods, Requiem relics with it. It was just that is the epitome of Pitwin. And let's say Warframe DE goes to avoid that. This ain't right. I don't approve of this whatsoever. And my hope is more
Pusia
people
said that's about right.
call this out.
Whoops! Whoops! Whoops!
But
I forgot I turned text to speech back on.
nice job.
Because I missed. So the chat heard that. Oh my god.
And here's the crazy thing: you turn that off, my connection gets better. But like I said, a lot more people have been calling DE out on this behavior, and frankly, I'm robots, nice, but that's a good thing that people are calling them out on this shit, because hopefully it means we'll get a better system with the liches, not so grind happy, you know.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not locked behind arbitrations. I fucking hate arbitrations.
I don't like them either. I mean, they're a necessary evil for some because like there are those players that complain about it being too easy,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean it's for everyone. I
No,
just like I just like that it's optional.
my big grief with arbitrations is they my big issue with arbitrations is that if they marked the demo list or demo character in general and not relied you on sound and looking through walls, I'd be fine with that. Like, but as they are now, like you can't see them until you follow the sound, or you can't really kill them because this. That's what annoys me. That's what honestly drives me up a fucking wall. I just ugh. I wish it was marked. I wish they were marked like normal assassination, not even sorry, high priority targets. I wish that was the case, but instead it's like, oh, here they come. Now look for them through the walls. It's like, mother.
Yeah.
No, it drives me up a fucking wall to
That
no
that's
end.
that's disruption. Are you talking about arbitration?
Arbitration is part of the disruption.
No, it's not.
Yes, the disruption game mode is connected to the
Oh. Oh, right.
yeah yeah. There you go.
Right, because arbitrations are all endless missions.
Yes, and they're part of the arbiters of the hexes, which you get more shit from. It's like ugh. Nah, and there was a reason why I told you to buy Gren when you did.
Yeah, now I
You
gotta
get
save up my plant for Ivar Prime and all that stuff.
the problem is that you get the parts or the beacons to find the parts through the arbiters of hexes. After you do arbitration missions, you earn up enough points. What winds up happening is you then use those beacons on a mission that completely removes all your mods from everything. Warframe, melee weapons, pistols, main guns, everything's gone. And you're left with like the fuck, you know? It's a nightmare is what it is.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's why I said just buy Grendel. Waiting around for him to come in it's not worth it. It really isn't. And for good reason. Just I don't want to think about that. I really don't. It's such a nightmare. Let's see. We've covered that. We've covered that. We covered that. Is there anything else about the old blood we're missing?
Other than the lore.
Oh right, Grendel's lore was interesting. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
How about the fact that there was an Orcan with 12 stomachs that all floated?
Yes, you know that's not inside either. It was all outside.
Yeah.
Oh, so again, this is the Orakin. I'm not surprised in the least. Like when I hear about like this character, my immediate thought is this impossibly fat Orakin just sitting there on the chair.
All I can think of is Crew from Jack 2. That fat floating dude.
Exactly, same thing, except more ornate and with more tubing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, ugh. It's not fun, just mentally. But I like what Grendel was. He isn't like some. When I heard him, I just assumed like he was this mindless, I'm gonna eat everything, bleh, kind of warframe. And then we come to learn that he's far from it. He comes to this frozen mountain city and just helps the people reclaim their lost food from this fat ass.
Yeah, he's like Robin Hood, but with food.
Well, not really. It is playing off of the Beowulf legend,
Mm.
where in the legend, Grendel, and this is me paraphrasing, of course, but basically Grendel is a creature that despises merriment and joy, and so would always attack a hall when this was happening. And technically speaking, the lore for Grendel is pretty much on point with the story. Grendel does attack a Orcican celebration, but for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, though, how did Grendel die in Warframe? Because when you look at him, like I said, with every Warframe, they die. You know, we find their pieces scattered or they meet their end somewhere. And that became a big question. How did Grendel perish, if at all?
Hmm.
Again, it's a weird thought to consider. Along with, just,
Well,
yes.
to go along with considering that is the fact that Grendel is with the Arbiters of Hexus.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is another thing to keep in mind. Like, how? How does that work?
I don't know, honestly.
I think what happened with
Mm-hmm.
Grendel is that he he's a glutton, but in the right way. He's not going to starve people who don't deserve it just because he's really hungry.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, when he does eat and it's for the right reason, he gorges himself happily.
Exactly. And my thought is this: like Grendel, I think I don't think he's. I think he's one of the few Warframes that didn't meet his end. You know, like the
Yeah.
others we've seen so far. I think it's just he eventually died of old age. That's what I think happened. And the Arbiters heard about Grendel being uh, this what's the word? This paragon of virtue through food, and decided to enshrine his peace amongst themselves.
I think what happened with Grendel is that after the events of the war,
Mm-hmm.
he starved.
Hmm.
He either starved or he just, I don't know, he just stopped.
Like I said, I'm more inclined to believe he died of old age. Because that seems to be what basically happened to him. Eat the rich. Exactly. Exactly. Grendel ate the rich. So we have that. And then another question is, since he and Gauss are friends, how did Gauss die? Because again, in the Laverian lore, they have a fragment of one of Gauss's fins, and the guy even says that they always find pieces of Gauss wherever Grendel was found. And the question quickly becomes of was were there attacks against the Oregon so consistent that Gauss just kept running into battle and eventually his wounds just got to him?
I still like to keep the idea of the fact that Gauss is based off of magnetic vibration plating that gives you
Mm-hmm.
this supersonic speed. I'm only paraphrasing. I know that I'm probably getting it wrong. Bite me. But just like the simplest thing like can cause all of that to violently fall apart
Mm-hmm.
or break. So odds are when Grendel and Gauss are going out fighting, if Grendel has a piece broken off, it's from some unseen mistake that they both caused together. Because, like,
Mm-hmm.
another thing to remember is that one of Gauss's ability is to run full speed into a wall.
Of course.
So it's either that, or he didn't account for Grendel swallowing up enemies in front of him, so he still smashed into a wall.
Well, here's an interesting thought. What if, again, to use that old age thought, what if Gauss was just getting too old and his parts just couldn't keep up with him anymore? Again, we've seen that Warframes can age, and eventually when they age, they just kind of, you know, decay rapidly.
Yeah.
it's entirely possible that without the Orokin, they weren't able to keep their pieces and their bodies contained or repaired so easily. So in the end, Gauss just kept losing parts every time to the point where he just, maybe this whole Grendel thing, maybe that was um, his last run, basically. Again, even they even mentioned that in the Laverian lore that what's the word? In the Laverian lore that Grendel that they smashed the gates open, and I believe it was Gauss who did it, not Grendel.
Possibly.
It would make sense. It's still a shame though. But yeah, it was interesting, and overall, it's good. It's a good mental thought, really. And of course, we have the Atlas lore. That was interesting. You've read it or gone through it?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, it was released under the radar. Atlas has also gotten his own Laverian.
Okay, then I gotta
Uh,
check that out later.
yeah, it's interesting. It deals with a cult that worships asteroids, and they try to bring their own doomsday prophecy against the Orokin on it. Again, very interesting stuff. That said, of course, when yeah, actually, you ever wonder why uh, Atlas's parts were found so far away from Earth and in
Why?
the possession of Jordas?
Hmm.
It involves the asteroid. He did something that caused the asteroid to go off course,
He
and he
punched
likes it.
it.
Yes, actually, he did.
I'm not surprised.
Well, punched it / summoned a bunch of rumblers.
Yeah.
Actually, we actually get to see the cultist in Atlas's Laverian's what's the word? Oh god, it's in the back of my mind. Exhibit. And they actually mentioned that first off, actually, the helmet he wore during that event is the one that has no head. It's the ball head neck thing. That
Oh,
one.
I love that thing. The candle snuffing cap.
Exactly. It according to the owner of the Laverian, that was worn on purpose because he had to use it because the cultists were like using high impact weapons. So it was this he built and put that helmet on specifically to protect himself when they were shooting at him.
Ah, okay.
Which again, I found it very interesting. But we see the cultist. Uh, According to Laverian, they found um, statues, intricate statues that must have taken months to carve, but we both know what it really is. They're frozen. Those were the cultist, frozen as statues. As statues. It's clever, cunning even. Hell,
Yeah.
they even recreated a pair of rumblers he used in that battle. According to him, it took them literal years just to put every piece properly to make these deformed and weirdly shaped rock golems. Eh, Again, it's worth a look into. Actually, I'm going to be honest. It's a clever little bit of world building. I don't think I've ever heard of a cult that worships asteroids like that. Worth looking into, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that covers everything of the old blood.
Pretty much.
Okay. So yeah, let's move it right along to Death Stranding. We won't be going into like spoilers or heavy story beats or anything of that nature. This is purely like examining and saying what we did or didn't expect. So,
I haven't seen anything of the game.
okay, so it's gonna be me talking.
Yeah, pretty much. As hyped as everybody has been for this game, I haven't.
I have been. Uh, I don't want to ruin the game for anyone because it is one of these. Uh, what's the word? Sorry, it's something weird just appeared. Because it's one of those games that you need to see. It's not a it's not something I could do justice for it completely. So yeah, I'm gonna try and avoid as many spoilers as humanly possible.
Okay.
The
Good
world
luck.
is fucked. That's the kindest way I can put it. The world is completely and utterly fucked because of reasons, basically. So I am going to cover the following. Don't get stuck out in the rain.
Yep.
Because it ages you. And I'm not even joking. Like, if you get caught in the rain, you'll go from 20 to 70 within minutes.
Which sucks because I love it. I love it when it rains.
Just exactly. That's why everyone's wearing these really elaborate coats. It's designed to keep the rain out as much as possible. They call it timefall.
Hmm.
Well, what's interesting is you don't need to see the effects of the rain are actually shown in the plants. When it starts raining, you'll see plants suddenly go from green to brown and then new sprout out and die again within seconds of each other. It's actually very interesting. That said, though, the effects on the human body are horrifying, to say the least.
Not surprised.
Well, the other problem is that it doesn't age you um, all in one sitting. Basically, whatever part of you is caught out in the rain will age, but the rest will stay.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it's entirely possible for an hypothetical. If you were to cover your entire body, but your head was exposed, you'd have the body of a 20-year-old and the head of a 7-year-old.
Ugh.
Yeah. And of course, your body will die. Well, whatever part is aged will die. So your lifespan, depending on where you're hit, your lifespan will diminish like crazy. It's honestly, I think this is a horrible way to go, if you ask me. Like,
Yeah.
this is the sort of shit you do to your worst enemy. Like, you remove, like, you strip them down to their skivvies. You put something on their head that will keep
Mort,
it dry.
no. No.
No?
No.
What? What's your feet? No.
Oh
Oh,
no. We even talked about what was going on with those little things.
oh, there's the
That makes it
game.
worse.
No. Here's the thing. If you get the kid out of the rain properly, you can age them correctly. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. At least if you want to fast forward someone's aging to an appropriate age, I suppose. But like I said, this is more like a way to kill someone, really. You just put something over their head and you expose their body to the rain. And it's horrible because the body will die, but the head will still live.
Ugh.
Again, it's messed up, but interesting. So you've got that going on, and since Mort's mentioned the baby, talk about the BBs. Yes, they're called BBs.
Again, not surprised.
Basically speaking, BBs are their equipment. They're children from who are taken from uh, parents who, or sorry, from mothers who are comatose, basically.
Yeah.
Uh, and they're used as equipment. What they're basically are is they're also called bridge babies. The point is they connect the person who's connected to the baby to what's the word, to the living and the dead. That's how you can use them to see BTs, which are called beached things. They're basically ghosts that can't that have moved on, but for some weird reason have come back to the land of. So there's that. BBs are used to see them, basically. Like if you're surrounded by one of the BB will to, you connect to the baby and you can see these ghosts everywhere. The process is a bit invasive. Uh, the BB still has an umbilical cord,
Yeah.
but the pod has another one as well. The point is that one that you use is a fake umbilical cord. You have to stab yourself with it in order to connect to the baby.
Oof.
Oh, fuck off, Mort. Can they be trained to use BB gun? Fuck off. Fuck off. I hate the fact that you said that. No.
I like having
No.
this person in chat.
No. The BBs can't survive outside the pod. They're basically premature, in a sense.
Yeah.
The cord that you connect with, it has a needle at the end, so you're just it's like getting an injection. Just stab it into the side of your stomach, and boom, you're connected to the BB.
It's similar to like an adrenaline shot when like something really bad is in the air. You have to stab that shit into your heart.
Exactly. Except with this, it's more like it's uncomfortable more so than it is disturbing. So that's it. This really isn't much of a spoiler, but Sam, aka Norman Reedus, actually names his BB, BB-28. He calls him Lou. I like that name. It's a good name.
That came so close to being BB-8.
Yes, it did.
Beep boop.
So we've got that going on. Equipment is all very interesting. Guns and gear is all 3D printed. So that's a thing. We've got that. Oh, right. The mechanical we've seen, the weird kind of like lamps, are actually BT detectors. They shine a light that allows you to see a BT or alerts you to very powerful BTs. So, for example, if there's a lot of them in an area, the arm will open up and show the light and kind of swing around, following the target. I can actually show you that. Since technically speaking, I don't think we're gonna get hit with, since like Sony's just attacking people who post like gameplay and shit of that. So I think we'll be fine if we do this.
He looks a little bit like Aaron.
Yeah, kinda. I actually like Norman Reedus when he has hair up. He looks more clean cut.
Yeah.
But it also kind of shows how much he's aged. So when there's a BT in the area, the thing will turn into detect the BT. However, if it's a particularly powerful BT or you're being attacked by something stronger, like there's something weirder going on in the world, it'll alert you by taking on this shape and basically say like warning. It'll start beeping and flaring and doing all this annoying shit basically. The point is it's to get your attention. I like this thing. It's very interesting. Hell, it even turns out that the BB can actually control the arm. It can't do much with it. Well, it can't do much with it. It's more like it looks, the arm will move in response. But, like I said, it's not that bad. Again, I don't want to go into spoilers or anything. That's why I'm kind of like, it can control it, but I can't say. Also, that glass that the BB's in, or sorry, Lou's in, it's bulletproof.
Oh, thank God.
I know this because the quote unquote main bad guy shoots at Luke, and the glass stops the bullet. So I was like, oh, thank God. I actually had a mini heart attack, like just flat out. Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank goodness, we're not gonna have a Star Wars.
Exactly. So speaking of it, let's talk about Higgs real quick. So Higgs is the quote unquote main antagonist. And yeah, it's a Kojima game. He's not the antagonist.
Oh,
It
look,
always
played
has
by Troy
twists.
Baker.
Yeah, actually, I think Troy Baker does a good job here because he actually Kojima basically just told him, you know what, go mental, be as silly and retarded as you want, and he plays it
So
up
he
like a
raises
royal.
baby middle finger.
Oh, Jesus. Yes.
Oh.
No, but Higgs actually just has like I swear Kojima just said, I want you to be as hammy and crazy as humanly possible, and he plays it so well. He's also incredibly creepy and doesn't understand the concept of personal space. So he's I should mention this as well, since the game doesn't explain it. People can get an illness called dooms, and basically what it is, as far as I understand, it gives people certain abilities, like you being able to see BTs, or teleportation, or the ability to summon BTs, or just superpowers. But the lower level you are, the more, uh, or the higher level you get, the more powers you have, basically. Higgs here has the ability to summon BTs, use the Force basically in some instances, and like I said, just be weird in general. He's also completely and totally insane, and by that I mean like, how do I put it? I want the world to end because I'm nuts, basically.
Yeah.
But overall, I like Tiggs actually. I mean, I don't like him as a person, I guess is the word. I like him as the character he portrays there. We'll say that. He's very interesting, very, like I said, charismatic. That's it. He's charismatic and it's infectious to the point where I was like, yes, awesome. But yeah, again, I can't really talk about Higgs without spoilers. And again, I want people to experience this for themselves. Then we have Guillermo del Toro. He's
Yeah.
he's having a complete and total ball with this. Like, he's so happy, and I was like, I'm happy too. So in the game, he's called Deadman, and because he's a coroner. So basically, your what you do is kind of your code name. I kind of liked it, but they actually make him very uh for his character. He's very energetic, animated, very um happy, basically. And I was and his dynamic with Sam is like, Sam is the straight man, and Guillermo's kind of Deadman's kind of the funnier of the two. But in a good way, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
What I actually enjoyed was that there was a scene, right, where I can say this because the plot really doesn't go anywhere, so not really much of a spoiler, but um, they suspect that someone within Bridges, their organization, is a traitor, and they suspect it's someone high up. And the problem is that they're being monitored 24/7. So the only place they're not monitored is in Sam's shower. So the Toro goes in and kind of gestures him to follow. So they start talking, and unfortunately, Del Toro gets way too close.
Oh no.
Like, I'm inches away from your face, and Sam is just like, "Can you not do the please back away?"
We are in the goddamn shower.
Exactly, and I was like, I know why he's doing it. He's emphasizing the point that this is serious. I can't say much because you never know who's listening. I get it. but at the same time, I was like, back up, please back up. And funnily enough, the shower glitches out. Like it has a privacy curtain kind of thing, but it's more like what's it called? You know how where some people will like put a window in their bathroom, but
Yeah.
the glass is like distorted so you can't really see.
Yeah, we have that in our
That
bathroom.
yeah, it's the shower's curtain is kind of the same thing, except when they're both in there, Dead
It
Man.
looks like they're making out or something.
No. Dead Man breaks it, and the thing, the shower stops being transparent, goes completely black, and says, "Warning: maximum weight exceeded." It's so
Oh no.
they're calling him fat.
Oh,
It's
it's
so
good to see
mean.
there's humor in the game, because I thought it was going to be overly serious.
Yeah, like I said, whenever Dead Man's on, how do I put it? He's the scientist who's happy-go-lucky a lot of times, but can be serious when he needs to be. And I was really happy about that. I really enjoyed him being like that. And this is the crazy thing. Del Toro is a director. He's known for doing movies and
Oh, he
having
is, yeah.
incredibly visionary um, concepts and puts them into his films. Um, he can act, which is the crazy thing. I was honestly shocked the whole time. I was like, whoa.
That is actually a very, very good trait of a director, because uh, when you're directing a movie, you're also having to play the role of another character in the film to help the actor along.
Right,
So if you have like a movie director who can't do that, who's unable to do that, they're not very good. And they're not going to be
right.
very good at acting.
Exactly. And but that's the thing. Del Toro can I was honestly just sitting there like, holy shit, I never knew he could do this. I never knew he could. Oh, by the way, I I found this. I suppose we could share it.
Oh boy.
He's so happy.
I know.
Oh man. And that's actually it ties back to the game. At first he actually sees Lou as more he doesn't really care about him because he sees them as equipment, which he's not wrong. It's not that he's being mean about it, it's more like he's being practical about it. But then
Yeah.
when he spends time with Lou, when he actually has to use Lou, he grows fond of him. And Lou actually grows fond of him as well. Like when he's crying and everything, Sam can't comfort him. He gives him over to Dead Man. Dead Man just holds him and the kid stops crying. And it's like, oh, he likes him now. And of course, Dead Man's also grown attached to him as well. I was so happy. But like I said, again, I was honestly shocked to know that Del Toro could perform as that.
Yeah.
This is we're talking.
Um
Could yeah, go ahead.
uh Del Toro does like a great job with like puppetry and stuff like that. Like his creations very rarely are CGI.
Of course.
But there are times where CGI is a necessary evil. What did I come back to? I don't know, chaos. We're talking about Dead Stranding.
What did I
Uh
come back to? Ah, Del Toro.
Del Toro being very happy. Like Del Toro is one of those people where when you see him doing something that's like not being a director, you just cheer for him, no matter what it is. Like you're always
Mhm.
happy to hear his name. But Del Toro has some CGI movies, and every single actor and actress that work with him voluntarily because they love working with him because he's got energy. He's good at acting uh, to help the person that's playing his characters understand what's going on, no matter how weird and bizarre the creature in the movie is afterwards. But he
Yeah,
is able to help the actors and actresses along in understanding what they're going to be dealing with, what is happening, but not necessarily what it looks like.
exactly.
So
And that's go ahead.
I said it like only a couple minutes ago, but I really do mean it. If you get like a movie director who cannot for the life of them uh, act as the other character or as the creature, or to help clear the explanation of what they're going to be dealing with, the movie's not going to do very well. I mean,
Exactly.
some do fantastic, but the
I
movie's
guess
not
the
going to
best
do very
example.
well. The actors are not really going to enjoy working with the guy unless they have money,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't really do anything else besides directing. Um, One of my favorite "Did you know" moments is there's this movie that I watch time to time called Four
Mm-hmm.
Brothers. Have you ever seen it?
No.
It's Mark Wahlberg. It's and like three. I never remember actor names, but that's the only name I remember. God damn it!
Mm.
But it's Mark Wahlberg and three other actors playing as brothers. Like so two black guys, two white guys. They're adopted brothers. Their adopted
Of
mom
course.
gets shot up by a gang, quote unquote, and they want to find out why.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the scenes of the movie, the director is actually on screen playing hockey with them. In another movie called The Losers, and I love that movie, the director arm wrestles Chris Evans with Idris Elba just cussing him out because Chris Evans loses the arm wrestling match.
Oh, there. Well,
If you have a director that is willing to stop everything and have fun, more than happy to get on screen and go through the movie with the actors, then you have a good movie. Every
yeah.
single football movie out there, there's a certain character that shows up every single time. Uh, the only movie I can think of as an example is The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. The director shows up. He is the guy carrying the gurney, talking about how the dude shot himself. In another movie called The Replacements, he is complaining to the referee because the main football team's cheerleaders are all strippers who are dancing sexily and getting the other team distracted. And it's hilarious.
Well, there you go. But that's the thing I want to give um Del Toro and all of this is that he always has an interesting idea, even if the movie or whatever he's working on doesn't, do well. He still made it. And again, to use like George Lucas as an example, he and Del Toro are more like, we want to make something, and we're not interested in making something for profit. Because if it was, they would never put so much time and effort into the things they do.
You know,
And
another
good.
another movie series that describes this all very well is the one that, like, to this day people are really surprised by and continue quoting even though it's been years, is the Spy Kids movies.
Hmm.
Like, the third movie had AAA stars in it. It had Sylvester Stallone, it had Danny Trejo, it had uh God, what's his name? What is his name? He plays Zorro.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know who, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Like, these AAA name characters, well, actors are in this movie. They're not being, like, a majority of them were not even being paid. They wanted to be a part of the movie because the director was so much fun.
And there you
Like,
go.
yeah,
But that's the thing I'm trying to say is that between Del Toro and Kojima, these two are very hands-on directors. Yeah, obviously Kojima does games, but he makes them to be movies. And a lot of times when you go to his office, and I mean like go into his office, like the one he's actually behind the desk and everything, you'll find little like toys and things set up with scenes being depicted. And he does this specifically to like put himself into, as he's setting everything up, just sit there and go like, okay, I want this to look like this. Here's my little replica. Now I am the camera. Let me see how this looks. Let me see how that looks. Da, 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 da. And that's how he winds up coming up with some of the more interesting or outlandish concepts. So to have both Del Toro and Kojima working together, obviously Del Toro having a change of role instead of being a director, being an actor, must have been an interesting experience.
You
to be
know,
directed.
you
Hmm?
know, hands down that at some point, probably multiple times, Kojima and Del Toro played with those toys together.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I flat out don't doubt it. But that's what I mean. It was interesting. And as
Mhm.
far as I know, Del Toro doesn't actually stuck on with the project even when it was getting crazy because he believed it. Now we're here at the payoff.
Yeah.
And then you have Mads Mikkelsen. That was weird. Like this is such a weird pull, and yet it fits so well for the game's story. And this should tell you how good the game's graphics are. A lot of the times I forgot this is a 3D model of Mr. Mickelson. It
Yeah.
looks so real. I was like, oh, remember, it's not really him looking at the glass.
Oh god, there was a Final Fantasy movie a long time ago where it was all CGI, but it was like mocap or something. It looked
Mm-hmm.
way better for its time. It was like early 2000s. I
Uh,
remember like Steve Buscemi was in it. How am I remembering actor names? I never do that. But
mhm.
it was CGI. It had like giant ghost creatures that could rip out your soul.
Oh,
It
jeez.
looked
Yeah, I
really, yeah, it looked really, really good. But at the same time, just the movie itself felt like something like this, like so weird, but somehow
exactly.
described very well.
Well, like I said, and to go back, Mr. Mickelson really does portray an interesting character, and we I see the roof has fallen.
Yeah,
Not
so
kidding.
Stuart has a very, very large bone that I think was like the top of
Uh,
a femur of a very large animal cut off. So it's that curved hinge part of the bone. He carries it everywhere with him and he continuously drops it because he tries
oh,
to
I don't
play
know
with
that.
it instead of chew it.
Yeah, spirits with that. That's it. I remember about that whole fiasco with like, oh, 3D movies are gonna kill actors' careers. I was like, no, it didn't. No, it
Well,
didn't.
look at it now.
Exactly, it's
It didn't
enhanced
kill
it.
act. It didn't kill actor careers. It started killing puppetry and practical effects.
Yes, but that's the other thing I should mention. Like I said, Mr. Nicholson's entire every time he's in the movie or in this game, he plays the role. How do I put it? His big thing is that he is well. I don't think I'm spoiling it, but basically, he's dead, and yet somehow he's clawing his way back into the land of the living. I should mention this: the beaches we see in the game,
Mm-hmm.
uh, they're other realities.
Oh.
Basically, when you die, okay, it goes like this: when you're alive, you're here in the world. When you go to sleep or astral protect or anything like that, you're on the beach, and then after that is the afterlife. When you die, you're on the beach, and then you have to make your way through that beach to the afterlife. But it's entirely possible for someone to get there physically with a physical body. That's how it works. But every beach is different. No one beach is the same.
Yeah.
And it turns out that beaches can merge. Horrible, horrible events happen, such as wars, great tragedies, famine. When a lot of people die in one place, they merge and become something horrible. That is what uh, Matt Mickelson's character, Cliff Unger, is the character's name, is. He's a soldier who's experienced all this pain and suffering, and is now clawing his way back into the land of the living, and bringing all these battlefields with him, basically. That's why he has an army of skeletons always with him, connected
Yo,
to him.
that sounds 100% like a D&D campaign.
It does.
There's a
the
lich
the
trying to come back to life, and he's gonna bring the entire dimension of the dead with him.
exactly. Or just here's the lich and his army of skeletons.
Skeletons as a
Honest.
monster is also kind of pathetic, though.
Well, no, these guys are a bit more menacing because
I'm pretty
they're
sure.
they're connected to Cliff the entire time, but he's also has the ability to separate them from him and have them act on their own. And they work like this, a squad basically.
Mm-hmm.
The first time we see Cliff, he's weakened, he's exhausted, and he's being dragged along by 4 skeletons. And what winds up happening is he collapses onto the ground, and you actually see the skeletons. There are 4 of them, and you see them. What's the word? You see them form a perimeter around him until it's like captain's down, everyone around. It was actually again creepy, yet also strangely heartwarming.
Yep.
But like I said, that's kind of the point of what Cliff is. He's a spirit that's been driven back to the land of the living because he still has unfinished business, of which I won't say. Again, like I said, I don't want to spoil this. I don't want to spoil the game's story or anything like that. It is something you should experience for yourself. I'm just explaining the things that the game doesn't really sit down to explain. You know, like what is certain things like what is going on or some minor aspects that aren't mentioned. But yeah, like I said, the whole thing is very interesting. When he's on scene in anything of the game, he steals the show, flat out. Like he carries this air of regret, and yet also an air of calmness and passiveness. And when he's in like the spirit form, or when he's doing his undead thing, it's the type of calm and peace that a sociopath would have, like someone who knows he's going to kill you.
Well, to be fair, he plays as Hannibal Lecter in a TV show.
True, but it's more like the way he portrays it is more like I said, it's more oh god, the kind of professionalism you see from soldiers, you know,
Yeah.
like flat out, it's nothing personal, it's just a job.
Yeah.
And like I said, he portrays it extremely well. And the mocapping's on point, the facial expressions are on point. Like I said, they succeed in creating this antagonist that you don't understand what he's like, you don't know what motivates him, you just know he's out to get you, and you need to keep moving. And it works really well. Like, I was honestly quite appreciative of the whole thing. Again, the guy can act, and again, this isn't anything new. The guy can act. It's just it's shocking to see how well Kojima gets him to do his lines. Hmm?
The dogs were wrestling.
Okay,
Stuart was
but like I
bullying
said,
the older dog.
of course it was like they all do. But like I
Cats
said,
hate
it's
Hannibal.
very. But that's what I mean. He steals the show exceptionally well to the point where it's like, yeah, I want to learn more about this character. Please keep talking to me. I want to know. Ah man, like I said, everyone steals the show. It's the world is alive. I say alive, obviously it's dead, but you know what I mean. You forget that you're part of a game, is what I want to say. The rules are established. The world is pretty much fucked. The enemies are interesting. Honestly, it's I had fun all over the place. It's honestly quite worth it. Uh, let me think. There was something else I was going to say. Relation. Let me think. No, I think that's yeah. That's everything. It's oh right. Apparently Cliff Bleszinski, the guy who made that atrocious game. I'm actually trying to remember what he made. Oh god, it's in the back of my mind. It's not Outer Worlds. It's oh god, Lawbreakers. That's it. The guy who made Lawbreakers. Apparently, he was supposed to be in the game as an Easter egg, right next to Conan O'Brien. Yeah, Conan O'Brien's in the game.
Oh gods.
It was. It's when I found out about that, I was like, Okay. I don't know why you want to be. I guess why not? Who can also get a Yeah, well, he'll appear like as regular, but they'll also he can also spawn with a retarded hat, which made me laugh. Oh, it's an otter hat. It's very cute. But no, it is the guy. It's very interesting to see him there. But yeah. Oh, overall, like I said, I think this game is getting and going into. It is very bleak and barren, but that's kind of the point. The story is also incredibly convoluted, and this is the only part I have a bit of an issue with. Is that again? I'm not going to spoil it, but the problem is that Kojima uh, basically loses focus in the midway to like he just how do I put it? It's like an artist who um, is making a painting, and the painting's already done, but he keeps adding more details and things to it to the point where the painting becomes this mess. It's like, oh Jesus Christ, please stop. That's basically what it is. And it kind of leads back to something I want to say is uh I don't think this game's gonna go anywhere. Let me rephrase that. The game's world and story, I should say, like the lore and everything. Like, I don't think there's gonna be more to it after this game. I think it's a one and done. But if you can salvage something from it, then by all means, go for it. But yeah, I think that covers everything from Death Stranding.
Yep.
All right, I guess this kind of ties into the next part, and that is, do games have a better chance of doing, excuse me, risky or strange things?
Hmm. 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 I mean, my brain immediately goes to System Shock. But then again, like, we've legitimately seen worse horrors than that.
True, true. Well, this is my opinion. This is what I think it is. I think games have a better chance of doing unusual slash experimental concepts a lot better than movies do.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because with a game, you're not constrained by actors or by what is and isn't physically possible and that sort of thing. You're more free to do something unusual, strange, and see what comes up. Plus, the cost, while substantial, isn't gonna like destroy you. You know,
Yeah.
like with a movie, you sink almost $1 million into it. You kind of need to get that money back, or it's a flop, and it can destroy you. Versus a game that's more like, oh, here's this weird game I invented in which you play as a decapitated head, and you have the ability to people. The goal is just to get to the end. You don't lose. You don't risk that much. You know.
Yeah, because video games is an area where it's really weird and logic is never questioned. But when it comes to
Yes.
movies, and this is something I hate the most, when it comes to movies, you always have that one person who will point at something that was really cool in a movie and go, yeah, that should have killed that person. It's a movie. It's Hollywood. It's not real. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Like, legitimately, nobody fucking cares.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my biggest gripe is whenever it came to, like, Fast and the Furious. And
I can
oh
imagine.
gosh, and especially Godzilla 2014.
Oh yeah, that whole thing, like Godzilla couldn't exist.
I hated that. I absolutely hate that. Uh, my mom works at a nuclear power plant nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Her job is to drive a truck carrying the contaminated materials to a place where it'll be properly taken care of. Well, we watched Godzilla 2014, and my mom has a bad habit of never shutting up during a movie. So the entire time the movie is going, she is pointing out every flaw in like the beginning of the scene about how that's not how it works. And then she will turn to the person closest to her and start explaining how you're supposed to do it and what her job is like for the 50 billionth time in a row.
Of course.
Because I never
People like that
hear the
always ruin the
goddamn
fun.
end of it.
Exactly. People like that always ruin the fun. It's like, we're trying to enjoy this. Please stop.
This
Unless
is
the
why
movie is like. Mhm.
this is why I don't watch movies with my family or watch TV because I never hear the end of it.
The only time I don't mind people doing that is when the movie's so bad and it's like trying. Um, it says it's realistic, but then it does everything stupid that isn't realistic. That's when you can do this. It's like, no, fuck you. That's not how it's. That's the only time I think it's fine to do that. But beyond that, no. It's a movie. Have fun with it, please.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of comes back to what I want to say, and that directors will also have a bad claiming a movie good because people don't understand what he was trying to go for. They become uppity snoop, and to the point where you're just kind of saying, like, no, you made a bad. No one likes the movie. It's shallow as hell. Stop trying to make it artsy. Again, it's like someone cutting themselves open, throwing their blood onto the canvas and saying, it's no, you're deranged. That's blood on a canvas. That's basically what it is. And that how do I put it? That's my gripe with movies that try to risk a lot and don't have much of a payoff, When they try to be experimental, you don't mind it when it's made, you know? You can enjoy it for what it is, but when they try to make it more than it is, or try to have it be speak deep or whatever like that, that's when it just kind of becomes, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It becomes this weird sort of, you're not even trying it, you. Like, how do I put it? In a way that it doesn't sound too pretentious. Oh, jeez. It's like, how do I put it? The movie sucks, and in order to get back at the people that say your movie sucks, you just, oh, you don't understand. Oh, you don't understand the vision I was going for, blah, 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 blah. You know? I never understand why people do that.
But
If
when it
you make
comes to
something.
video games, that doesn't really
Mhm.
happen. You understand what
Well,
the person was going for immediately.
well, no, it happens when the same thing happens when a game maker gets angry with their critics, who rightfully point out that the game isn't fun or sucks. And by that I mean, like, the game's broken and it's being sold for a high amount of money, or the game's derivative, or the game's just not interesting, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll use FNAF for an example. With FNAF, it's a simple game. You're sitting there in the dark, you're managing your power, and you're making sure the killer robots don't kill you. And that's it. People enjoyed it because Scott added in lore, he added information in, and subtle little clues, and that's what made people interested. It was the mystery that got them hooked, even if the game wasn't, how do I put it? Even if the game wasn't particularly interesting or or innovative, it still worked. Versus something that's like the Call of Duty, one of the thousands of Call of Duty copies that does something slightly different, and they
But it's
expect everyone
still
to
the
hail them.
same.
Yes, like, here's a perfect example, right? There was a Call of Duty future game, whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And Call of Duty is known for having zombie modes, right?
Yep.
What this game did, instead of adding a decent zombie mode, was it took the campaign's story, cutscene, and level design and then redubbed everything with some insane zombie storyline to it. I think it was Black Ops 3. Let me see.
Who knows?
Yeah, it was Black Ops 3 Zombies, and it was the most insane thing I think I've ever seen. Like, I can't even begin to describe it. It was like, I'm actually like struggling here to think of the proper thing. It was obviously like they cut the zombie mode off because they didn't have anything ready for launch, so they just repurposed the campaign and just added a zombies aesthetic to everything. Like, there's even a cutscene where they replaced one of the mercenary guards with a zombie sitting there, or sorry, with several zombies sitting in the back of a truck that gets there, and then their excuse is, "Oh, this government managed to control the zombies, and that's why they're using guns." It's like, no, fuck you, fuck you. And that's the point I'm trying to make. It's just these products tend to suck because sorry, not products. And that's the thing I think is the um why games can get away with more experimental things is just that there isn't that much risk with it, you know, especially if you're trying to make something for the sake of having fun or making something that's never been made before. It's why you can wind up with some, you know, like, first off, you can make something that's fun for everyone and nobody uh will be annoyed by it. And then suddenly you get this what's the word? And then suddenly you make this for fun, right? You make this little thing, and suddenly it becomes a massive hit because people are interested. They want to see more.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think games can make better, more creative sense of the more insane or risque things,
I remember
and come out of. Mhm.
I think it was one of the Battlefield games. I don't remember what it was called. But the one thing I remember about this game is that all the main characters were fucking idiots. Like like the one like certain things I remember were the cutscenes where like an enemy soldier tells him like you put down your guns and like the redneck at the roof goes, "You in what army?" And then turns and goes, "What?" He goes, "I always wanted to say that." And then like another one shows the same dude running down the hill, but he doesn't know how to run down the hill properly, so he's holding the gun over his head like an idiot. I think it was called Bad Company.
Yeah, that's it. I know that. I know. Yeah, it is Bad
That
Company.
was so different
Battlefield,
from the
Bad.
usual Battlefield.
Yeah, because it was fun, and then they weren't taking anything seriously. And by the way, that bit where he's running shotgun
Yeah.
over his head,
Yeah.
uh, it's a joke. It's supposed to be him running down because there's gold in the area, and he's excited to go get it. Like, he's shooting the shotgun. Just the point is that the other three or the other four, no, it's a group of four, and the other three are sitting there and they're discussing about this plan to go in stealthily, try not to cause an incident, and steal the gold. And then their friends just running down saying, "There's gold in these here parts," and just start shooting the shotgun over his head.
Yeah.
It was quite comical. I actually enjoyed that game a lot, but that's the point. These games get away with being crazy, interesting, and comical,
That
and you
game
wind up with very.
that version of that game never had a sequel or anything, did it?
It had one.
Mm.
And it sucked because the creators realized, oh, people like this more. Let's make it just like Call of Duty, and the interest died with it.
Like that is the biggest problem with like those games. Like the second they realize that money is going towards something, they try to get into it, but they don't know how.
And they murder it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like with Titanfall. Titanfall 1, nobody was interested in because it was just a multiplayer game that just didn't do enough to make it stand out, and its story was merged unceremoniously with its multiplayer setting. which clearly shows that it's supposed to have a single player game, but they cut it. And then you've got uh, Titanfall 2,
which was
which
amazing.
exactly. And then EA is like, they kill it because they're not happy the sequel made money where the first one made it. They kill it, and then they create Apex Legends, thinking, oh, people just like how you use guns and you move around, right? Right. That's it. That's how. That's why this. That's why the money's following this game. And look
Uh,
what we are.
no.
And exactly, that's the point. They're stupid.
This is why indie games do so much better than AAA.
Undertale. Need I say more?
Day of Dragons.
Yes.
That is another great game. I'm like, holy shit.
Well, here's the thing. With Undertale, it's just like any other what's the word? It's just like any other oh god. Oh god. Any other uh I'm trying to oh
It's like any
what are
other
they called?
story
Bits.
game, but with pixels.
No. Uh, um, bits or whatever they call those.
8
Um,
bit.
8-bit, exactly. It's just like any other 8-bit
Like I
story with
said, any other story game with pixels. 8 bit.
yes. But what made it different and interesting was that the focus was not about killing monsters and getting loot. It was about, hey, these are people. Treat them like people. And the story progresses by not being a violent sociopath. That's what endeared. It wasn't just that. It was how well written the characters were, how everything felt alive, how the story progressed by you just living a normal day here.
Yeah.
And there you go. But why is my phone going off?
I don't know.
It's like vibrating. I don't know. I guess it's because it's dumbass over here. Yeah, but that's basically what I mean. It became sorry. It became different and fun because it took risks.
And
And
then
lo and
people
behold,
started learning more about like what the game could do. Like it remembers your save. Like the little Easter
mhm.
eggs. Like there was one Easter egg where if you ran back and forth in Sans and Papyrus's house, like going in and out of their kitchen, Papyrus will suddenly go, "My legs are very tired," because he keeps sprinting over to talk to you.
Yes.
And it just
And
develops more and more and more each time you play.
no, for fuck's sake, why is my phone just losing its? Like you can hear that, right?
Vaguely, yeah.
I'm trying to find out what it's doing, what's doing it. Oh, it's something. I don't know.
Another another indie game that did shockingly well, but I'm afraid I don't think it'll
Yeah.
have a sequel. Is Night in the Woods.
Right, that's the game that some bitch got the creator killed over. Yeah, I remember.
What? Like
So
I know he
I'm
passed
talking.
away, but what?
Okay, basically, to sum up the story, random bitch gets mad with him, claims he's a monster, an abuser, and a predator, and yada da da da. No proof whatsoever. He kills himself because he can't. His life was basically over. She made it so, and yeah, that's basically what happened in a nutshell.
Grr.
That bitch, what?
Grr.
And that bitch is still out there. Like she's still milking money and shit from people. And I'm like, I want to see you burn.
Yes, same here.
Don't worry, we'll in the future we'll figure out to scorn her. But for now, we'll just keep going.
But still, Night in the Woods is another one of those games that did shockingly well. It is an indie game,
Mm-hmm.
but the characters are written like actual people. Like sometimes you'll get into a cutscene where they're in the middle or nearing the end of a conversation, and it feels so organic. The music is fantastic. The art style is beautiful. The sound design is also really good. The
Yes,
story, it's really, really good. It's just,
it's more down to earth.
yeah. Yeah, like, you never know. Well, you know, if you've seen how the game is played, you know what'll happen, but, like, you never really know what turn it's going to take. Because they're, like, every time I watch somebody play through the game, I always learn something new each and every time. No
Exactly.
playthrough has ever been the same. And I love that.
And that's another case in point. That's another example of games can do things movies can't. With a movie, you only have so many endings or so many things to do. It has to end every time the same way. With games, it can end any way the hell you want, and the story can improve or change based on what you do. I guess at the end of the day, that's basically what I'm going to say. Games have the ability to, for fuck's, I don't know why my phone is going off, and I think it might be stupid Amber Alerts. Like my phone is weirdly glitched to the point where it will keep replaying Amber Alerts day in and day out to no end.
At that point, I would just
Even
turn
though
it
it's,
off.
I've tried turning it off. It doesn't want me to turn it off.
Wow.
Okay, I think it's done. But like I said, it just becomes. I guess what I'm trying to say is games basically they can get away with more risky things. They can do things that movies can't, and in a good way. And that's the thing I think should happen. I think more creators want to be strange and out there, to make something they want to make. I think they should instead.
Let's
Like I'm not
not,
saying
like,
go ahead.
ever still going on with, like, games that are not AAA. Another game that just blew everybody away was Cuphead.
Exactly.
But the difference is they had a lot of they had a lot of pieces of shit reviewing the game.
Yes, like that one idiot who can't do a basic puzzle that a pigeon can do.
Yep. Yep.
I
He
still find that
can't
funny.
even get past the tutorial.
No, your intelligence is less than a pigeon. How does that feel? Anyway, but like I said, it's just that I think more creators should try to go and make video games if they want to make something insane and crazy, and even if they skills, just hire people who have it. Get a small team together just for this one project, and boom, there you go. It's difficult, yeah. It could be life changing and life altering. This is also true, but it can be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe you'll get a banger like Night in the Woods or Undertale.
Speaking of Undertale, I just found a Sans player model for Gmod. Nope. There is like a Maborowski player model for Gmod. It's really
Yeah, that
cute.
one I saw. Anyway, so speaking of, get into our last topic of the night, and that is sorry, let me read it again. Is it a good idea to try and make a franchise with games or movies? Can it go too far? I'm going to say yes. Yes, it
Yeah.
can. And the reason why I say that is because a story has to come to an end. Everything ends eventually, whether wanted to or not. And the best thing to do is when you need to end your story or end your game or anything, it's best to end it how you want to end it. That is satisfying and uh, everyone and everything in the universe can enjoy.
Yep.
And again, to use it as an example, I think when that happens, or when you do a story of anything, right, regardless of what you intend or what you don't, it's important to know when to stop it. I get the appeal of, oh, a lot of people enjoy it. Oh, I have fans who like this kind of thing, yada yada yada, right? But it's also important to decide, okay, I have to stop. This is where the end comes, you know?
A lot of series carry on when it was like a lot of series continue when it legitimately should have ended sooner, or
Right.
it had the opportunity to end and it didn't take it.
Exactly. And that winds up destroying the fun or the interest that you had, the what's the word? Behind, oh god, it's in the back of my mind. Fun and enjoyment they had with the product in the first place, or the story in the first place. And as unfortunate as that is, it's true. The story can go too far and eventually lead to people losing interest or being like, "Can we end it?" Perfect example: Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That has become such a bloated franchise that I don't think anyone can enjoy it. Mostly because they change too much, like gameplay related things that nobody enjoys it. And then story wise, what story is there? Oh, America's good and this nation is bad, ergo we go. I know that's a gross over exaggeration, you know. You
Yep.
get the point. It become that becomes the main issue. Nothing about Call of Duty is consistent. The story is rarely consistent. Plot points rarely go. It's just a series of conflicts that just never really end. And then you have something like, for example, Gundam. I'm mainly talking about the Universal Century. That is a story that has continued since the 60s or 70s, whenever the first Gundam aired, and right now has reached another chapter in its story, but isn't being forced. And again, it's a rare example because the story of Gundam has had its ending in the far distant future, at least for Universal Century, but it hasn't reached that point yet. And so there's opportunities to tell the stories leading up to it. And to that end, I don't mind because technically speaking, we know where it's going to end. It's just interesting to see how we get there,
Yeah.
as strange as that sounds. But that's the exception to the rule. It's part of the series going well past the original, sorry, the original air bite, and eventually you just kind of lose interest as a whole. What made the series or the story interesting just decreases over time to the point where no one can enjoy it, or people who did enjoy it just lose what they liked about it. In a sense, I should say.
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of the unfortunate truth. To me, I don't mind if a story can keep. That's never been my issue. I think if you're going to tell a story, you need a beginning, middle, and end. But if you want to make an epic or something that everyone can enjoy, you kind of need to keep it going. And maybe sometimes you decide, I won't be able to cover this here, there, here, and here. I could cover it at the next thing I do, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, like I said, I don't think it's impossible for someone to, how do I put it? I think it's possible to make, and if your end goal is just to make that series and tell a story, then that should be it. You should have your beginning, middle, and end. But to expand on the story or the universe or characters you want to continue the story in a different direction, then that's when I think it's entirely possible for you to do more, basically.
Yeah.
Again, I know I'm trying to into words without trying to sound too ham-fisted or too ridiculous. It's just difficult to really put it into perspective. Let me think. If you want to share something, like, go ahead.
I think sorry, I'm stretching. Another good example of a series that has gone on for quite a while and has had multiple endings, but is still going just because of a meme, is Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like both, like the movies are meh. You'll find some people who love them, some people who hate them. Just meh. My dad likes them.
Okay.
Uh, the games are now more of a joke. Like
Yeah.
they're disgusting as hell. The remake that they recently made was fantastic, if not a bit incorrect with certain
Uh-huh.
aspects, but it was still really really good.
Right, right.
Still, it's a franchise that is still kicking when it should have stopped kicking quite a long time ago.
Yeah, basically there's fuel in it. And it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The point of Resident Evil is kind of it's always been an anti-bioterror series. That's always what it's kind of been at the end of the day. And actually, hold on. I'm just gonna check how long we've been going.
2 hours.
Almost three. Yeah. But that's the thing I mean about Resident. The series has always been about bioterror and how far things can go, basically.
Yep.
And the characters have stayed mostly consistent. You still have Chris, you still have Leon, you still have Claire, and you still have
Ada.
Jill. Yeah, they're all consistent, and they all have personalities. They all have character developments, and they grow. They've always been at that kind of precipice. But the main antagonist, Umbrella, is gone. Yet the world still has bioterrorism. The world still has virus create, and that allows the canvas to still be useful. Like if you want to look at it like this, the story of Resident Evil is done. It started with Resident Evil 0 and ended with Resident Evil 5. Plain and simple. The story of Umbrella is finished. The story of Wesker is done for, and that's the end of it. However, if you go ahead, you got Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 7, and Resident Evil Revelations 2, all which take place after 5 and pretty much kind of paints a new setting for the world. If you want to see it like that, this then it could be considered the epilogue. Like, what is the world like now that there's no Umbrella? And the movies also do a good, the CGI movies, I should say, do a good job of establishing that too. Some of them take place in the future, some in between.
I should specify my dad likes the live action movies,
Of course,
but
but
I I really like that CGI movie where they're in a different country and just like nearing the end, three tyrants are running naked at the main characters.
yes,
It was
but
so
also kind
good.
of yeah, and it proves how inadequate a tyrant is if you don't give it away.
Yeah.
But that said, like I said, it kind of all boils not down to, but that's basically the point. Resident Evil's story has continued even though uh, the main story is over. Right now, we're like at the epilogue slash short stories that lead up to the rest of the game, or the rest of the game's setup, basically. And to that end, I don't mind it. I think it's kind of good. I just think there should be a definitive end. Like this is the characters either come to an end, retire, or they cure the world of the viruses and all that stuff. But that's it. You know, that's where I think the end should be established if there should be. But beyond that, there isn't much else to oh god to specify, I should say. The best way to put it is like this is a story that has an end that's had an end to it, and yet we don't mind that it continues. You know, even slightly forward, and that's the end of it. Versus something like Call of Duty or FIFA, yeah, Call of Duty or any of the continue to pump up sequel after sequel. It becomes a bloated mess, and all people will just basically like, okay, I'm done here. The story ended for me at this point, and nothing of value is really lost at that point. You know,
Yep.
and I guess that basically covers my feelings on it. You know, it's possible for things to go too far, but unless there's still room for more story or more tales to be told, in that universe, then having more continue after it isn't much of an issue, if at all, basically. Versus something like, you're just continuing the story because you. Opinions on it. Yeah. Anything for you to kind of respond to?
No, not really.
All right. So I basically kind of covered everything. All
Yeah,
right. Well, I guess that covers everything for tonight. Oh, yeah. Once again,
we didn't get
next
that.
episode talk. We are. Hmm?
We didn't get any of that.
I said thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the Left for Random talk. Sorry, I went a bit long. We'll try not to do that in the future,
It did not
but
go
no problem.
long at all. It's only been 2 hours.
No, day-wise.
Ah,
We'll try not to do this whole Sunday.
we're trying. We're really trying. My my boss's family is really weird. Like, I work on Wednesdays, and like he'll sometimes tell me, okay, somebody in this house is sick right now.
Uh-huh.
If we're feeling better by Thursday, you can come by on Thursday. And I'm thinking like, oh well, if they're sick, it's gonna take them a day or two to feel better. The next day, oh yeah, everybody is 100% again. Come on over. What?
Of course.
That is really fast.
Yeah, it can happen.
And I'm surprised that it's really fast because their living conditions not the greatest. That's why they hired me to clean.
Of course. But yeah. So this has been us. As per usual, wait for the end of stream spiel.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you next Thursday, hopefully. This has been Rev, signing off.
Yep. I did say that I work on Wednesday and we do this on Thursday, didn't I? I don't remember. Alright, so my usual spiel is that down in the description below on YouTube and down below on Twitch, there's a link and a creeper face that say, donate to the stream for clicking here, by clicking here. Don't click on it, they don't work. Currently on Twitch, I have a lot of panels that block the creeper face. One of them doesn't work yet because I'm not being paid to do this. I've been saying, if I have the strength, I will stream this. If I have the strength, I will stream that, this and that. I don't have the strength to stream lately. I just don't. November is a month that I do not like. I don't like Thanksgiving. I hate it. And because of this, the entirety of November is me just not having the strength to do anything like streaming. Instead, all I do is play video games to alleviate any negative feeling I might have. So I'm always going to be negative. I'm always going to be very tired. I'm not going to have the strength to do anything. So throughout the month of November, it's only going to be Left for Random talk or it's nothing at all. And if there is a stream from me, it's going to be spontaneous. You never know when it's going to happen. We are going to raid my good friend Like an Alpha. He's playing Overwatch. I don't know how much longer he's going to be playing. Oh, wait a minute. He disappeared from my listing. Nope, he's still there. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next Thursday. Hopefully Sunday I will stream Scribblenauts and we will begin the Portal 2 multiplayer. Just things are crazy. Have a good night, everybody. Nope, mute. Have a good night, everybody.